Well, welcome to the show. This is our view from the bench. Well, welcome to the show. I'm Brendan, assistant water boy for the water polo team.
And I'm Corey, team manager for the badminton team. What's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Happy Monday.
It is good to be here, man. Happy Monday for sure. How was your weekend?
Great. We're live, man. We're live. You can see you. I can see you.
For real. This is not just an audio podcast anymore.
No more. First one online. So, first one in video.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, weekend was pretty good. Made it through, got my car serviced, like I said, went to the car show, it was pretty cool. And then just kind of relaxed yesterday and got ready for this going today. What'd you do this weekend? Anything fun?
No fun. Working all weekend, working professional bull riders, lots of fun. And,
oh yeah, the Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Cowboys in town, basically.
Oh. Nice. Not cowboy players. You talking about ones with the hats and the boots?
Yes, actual cowboys selling cowboy hats, selling big old belt buckles, stuff like that.
Got you. Nice. Well, you made it through. It wasn't as long, like you said, as the what was it, NP or NR? NP.
NF. Yeah, that one.
NF.
This was much more manageable.
Okay, that's good. Glad you made it through. So, well, welcome everybody. This is definitely our first, obviously, video one. So we're gonna do something a little bit different today. We are gonna talk about sports, but we're going to make it a little bit more personal. Since this is the first introduction of our faces, we're also going to do a little bit of introduction about us. So we'll try to keep it as sports related as possible, since that's what this is necessarily supposed to be around. But we're going to get a little bit more personal and kind of go down the list of things about us so you can learn a little bit more about who you're listening to. So, Corey, you want to kind of kick it off for us, man?
Yeah, so we're going to start.
What are we talking about first?
We're going to start by going by each of our favorite teams and kind of like why we like them. And then we'll kind of break down from there different sports and different other, like maybe our favorite sports movies at one point we'll talk about. So just a little bit like that. But we're going to start off with favorite sports teams. So we'll start with basketball, which obviously we both know that we're both Laker fans. But why are we Laker fans? What's the background? How did you get into it? I mean, obviously we're both diehard, so it's not like we just started yesterday.
Yeah, very true. No, Laker fan for life. The most obvious reason and the main one is where I'm from. Obviously, living in the LA area, so it's the local team. But I'd say the two things that really got me into it, besides my parents, were my grandma. She loved the Lakers, had Laker apparel, Laker jewelry, jackets, T-shirts, anything you could possibly think of. Huge Laker fan. And so as I was growing up, I was always watching basketball at our house. In fact, if you remember back when one of our favorite sports memories, mine was Kobe's 81, and I was at my grandma's house watching it. So that's the grandma that really got me into it. Grandma Eileen, shout out, rest in peace. So she's the one that got me into it. And the one that really got me hooked was also rest in peace, unfortunately, Kobe Bean Bryant. So just really followed the sport after watching my grandma watch it and stuff like that, and just got into it from there. Kobe kind of kept me, and it's been a lifelong fan since. So I'm sure yours might be a similar reason, at least with the location. But
yeah,
why are you a Lakers fan?
LA definitely living in this market helps, but my dad and my mom obviously watched them in the Showtime 80s era. So my dad was a huge Lakers fan. So growing up, it was always Lakers in the house. And like, I think I really went to basketball. I remember growing up just like playing. I mean, you played basketball at my house back in the day. I was always in the backyard shooting by myself, watching games on the little TV in the garage right there. And just always was Lakers. And like I remember them being not good as a kid. And my dad, before going to my first Laker game, quizzing me, like telling me a number and me having to give the name of the player. And I knew the whole roster, like Nick Van Exel, Cedric Ceballos, Eldon Campbell, Anthony Pig Miller. Like it was when we were, it was, how like
Kobe, how old are you?
Those years God, that was before Kobe and them. So like I was probably like 5.
Oh, nice. Damn, pretty good then, man. Nice.
Like it was just my thing. Like I loved basketball. So I just watched Lakers all the time. And back then, it was on KCal 9 all the time. So you'd watch them on the road games, like on that channel, and then they'd be on a different channel for home games. This is all before, the big Spectrum Network, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just always watching Lakers. It was always Lakers, no matter what.
Yeah. I also enjoyed their winning,
Oh yeah, that
especially.
does help.
I mean, they won the year I was born, so that were the year we were born, I should say. So that
True.
was cool, and obviously have won six since.
Yeah, it's been a nice run. We've had the 2000s were good to us, man. The
Yeah,
2000 to
yeah.
2010 era was good.
Even times we did make it and we lost, but or even went deep in the playoffs and lost, but we got five there, and then obviously the newest one with bronze. So
Yeah.
we've been lucky too. So I like the winning culture as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Which I mean,
not everybody that we watch though wins.
yeah, I was just gonna say takes us to the non-winning side of where we are as fans when it comes to football. I am a Tennessee Titans fan. Obviously, we grew up here and we talked about in LA. There was no football team when we were here. The Rams left in '94, which actually my dad took me to their last home game on Christmas Eve against Washington back then. I remember going to the game and then coming home for Christmas Eve to open up presents with everybody
That's
at
so
their house.
awesome. Best day ever.
And they played at Angel Stadium, so I remember sitting like up in the bleachers behind the end zone. I think on one end.
Nice.
But yeah, so we didn't have a team, and then my dad was a Dolphins fan, so as a kid growing up, there was always Dolphins or Dan Marino stuff, which I always liked Dan Marino more than I liked the Dolphins in a sense. So when the Titans got rebranded from Oilers to Titans, I was like, "Ooh, that's like new name, new team, and like fresh start in a sense." So I like kind of was like, "I'm gonna root for them as a team," but I'm still like a Dan Marino fan. And then the first year they were the Titans, they went to the Super Bowl and lost, obviously, as we know, to the Rams by 1 yard.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. I didn't
um,
want to show it.
but yeah, so like I jumped on and I was like, okay, cool. I'm like for real a Titans fan. And then I think 2 months later, Dan Marino announced he's retiring, and then he never played again. So it was like perfect timing in a sense of them rebranding and me like trying to figure out which team I actually wanted to root for. And then they've never been to a Super Bowl since. So it's been a rough, a couple years since then, but it's been a fun time.
That's all right, man. That's okay. It's okay. Stuff happens.
But you
At least
understand, like we
you.
talked about, you don't have the best team that you root for either here when it comes to football.
No, in fact, I'm currently taking applications for anybody who would like to have a new fan. I'm a Cardinals fan now, and although we've recently been to the Super Bowl, well, somewhat recently, lost to the Steelers by a toe drag.
Oh man, I
So
remember
I
that. I
understand
remember that
tight
one.
margins as well. The Cardinals really haven't done much since, so I like them, but I'm starting to hear stories and stuff from players that have been there that there's as a player on the team, you have to go out to the what are the food trucks outside the stadium and pay for your like own food and stuff like that. And
That's not good.
yeah, it's like, is this a professional organization or is this
Yeah.
volunteer based? So it just yeah, it just seems kind of lame. It's kind of weird to be a fan of a team who makes their players do something like that. So kind of typical applications. But to be honest with you, I'm just really a fan of the NFL. I like watching football in general. So I just root for all sorts of things, mostly fantasy stats and gambling. So that's how I
Understandable.
enjoy the
It's
NFL.
funny that you say you're taking interviews though, because I'm not gonna lie. And a couple years ago, I think it was like 2015 or so, I was kind of thinking of, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can still be a Titans. Like it was bad. They had a couple of bad. I think it was like 3 seasons in a row. They had less than 6 wins, and like the coaching hires wasn't making any sense. But then Bud Adams, I think the guy name was who owned it, passed away, and the daughter Amy Strunk took over. And ever since she's taken over and has hired everybody to like do their job, and then she's gotten out of the way, they've been much better and at least competitive. I'm not expecting them to win every year, but they had like I think 6 seasons in a row they were 9-7 or better, and went to the playoffs a couple times. Lost an AFC title game to the Chiefs, which beat Pat Mahomes. I can't blame anybody for that. And
Yep,
then
exactly.
last year they didn't make the playoffs for the first time in I think 7 or 8 years. So they're in the right direction. So I have
See,
nothing wrong with them, but I understand interviewing for a new team because
yeah.
I was almost at that point.
Yeah, yeah, you get it. One team that neither of us are, I don't think, interviewing for yet still is not very good is our favorite baseball team. That's what we decided to rep today. I have this new city jersey that I got. Love it. Love the color. Love the design. So
Dude,
been
those
rocking
retro
that.
ones are so nice, so clean.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah,
And
I
then,
love
yeah,
it.
I've actually got
Thanks.
a D-backs purple jersey with the old logo colors, but it's actually a Grateful Dead shirt that my brother-in-law got me, but it's Diamondbacks at the same time. So rocking the purple today.
So,
But yeah, definitely not leaving them as a fan, man. Been one since day one in '98. I mean, growing up, I just knew I wasn't a Dodger fan. That's the only thing I could tell you. I didn't necessarily root for the Angels. I kind of did a little, but I just was like, not. I just couldn't do the Dodgers. I don't know what it is. I know everybody here loves them, and like I like local teams when it comes to the Lakers, but I don't know. I just couldn't do it. So in Little League, I was on a team and they were the Diamondbacks, and I was like, that's not a team. Like this doesn't exist. Which I found out they didn't exist. They were waiting to build the stadium and they were gonna play in a couple years. So once they decided to actually play, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be a fan. Like let's just start from day one and see what happens. So we'll go from there. And obviously 4 years in, they win the World Series, and it's again been a rough run ever since. There's been a few
Yeah.
highlights, but not a lot.
Yeah, very true. I'm a fan of the Diamondbacks for a little bit different reasons. I actually have on my other side, my stepfather's side, his parents lived in Arizona. So we would visit there often. And when the Diamondbacks were one of the expansion franchises in '98, we were there visiting, and we went to. I wouldn't say. I don't think it was the first game, but we went to one of the first games at that stadium. It was Bank
Dang.
One Ballpark back then, Bob.
The Bob,
So
that's right. I forgot about that.
and I didn't really watch baseball too much, so that was the most baseball that I got was going to the live games in Arizona. Obviously, the tickets were kind of cheap, being a new expansion team and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I first started. Was really just having grandparents that live up there and went to the games out there as often as I could, basically. So
Yeah, I've been there. I went there a few times earlier. I remember. I don't know if it was
we've
before
been
they won the
together.
World. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, we did. But I think my dad took me to a game there when I was younger. But I don't know if it was before they won the World Series or after. It was kind of around that time though. But I remember just like I miss the purple and teal, man. Like the 25th
Yeah,
anniversary seasons this year, they just wore them over the weekend. And I was just like,
yeah,
ugh, I wish they
they
would
won
just
on
go
Sunday.
back. Yeah, yeah. They
Well,
those
come back, man.
purple
Hey, but
cut off
dude, come on.
blues. I know those are beautiful,
Tell
but
me this doesn't look good.
those are also alternate jerseys. They're not the everyday ones.
Mm,
No,
I'm
that
just
one is
saying. I
dope.
think
Though.
it's
I
look
do
cool.
really like that jersey. I way better than I would have expected for the City Connect because some of the City Connect jerseys or whatever they call them in baseball are just kind of eh.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. A jersey though that is coming out that's new this year, the 30th anniversary. I think you've gotten a couple sneak
Ooh
peeks
yeah,
at it and stuff like that. Is our favorite hockey team. We both like the Ducks. So I guess really when we go through the four major sports, we really only differ on football.
and even
Uh,
then you just like the sport.
One was by accident though. Diamondbacks was literally different reasons. Even though we knew each other, but
Yeah,
uh, kind of liked them for different reasons. So.
yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, the Ducks. Mine's pretty short and sweet. Like the movie, right? My dad used to live in Orange County, so we went to games. It was a lot easier to go to those games, obviously, being in Orange County. So I
Yeah,
went to
for sure.
those games more than I went to Kings games. So, and plus, we were the first ones to even win in SoCal. So I don't care that they have two. We did it first.
Absolutely, could completely agree. But yeah, same thing. It was the movie that like because I don't remember liking hockey really before the movie. And then I wouldn't say as a kid, if you asked me, I would probably say I'm a Ducks fan, but I wasn't really watching the sport or like paying attention to the team. And then I
Hmm.
remember obviously they made that run in '03. And then as I got like later in high school and I went to college, I had a roommate from like NorCal who was a Sharks fan. So we started talking hockey much more than I had like on a previous entire lifetime, basically. And so then my parents for my birthday that year got me tickets to a game and I went. And that happened to be the season they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. But I got lucky because I started working at Angels in March of '07, and a lot of people worked merch at Ducks. So when they made the playoffs, I kept telling my boss like, "Yo, like Tim, get me in. Like I want to work." And he was like, "Maybe if they need help." And then for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final, they needed help, so I was able to work a day game at Angels, and then take the bus across the street change into a Ducks jersey, and they put me in the team store. I knew nothing. I knew where nothing was. People were asking me
Perfect.
questions I had no answers to, but
No, so you're
as soon
super
as they
helpful. Good job.
won, I got to sell merch outside in the tent, and then they were like, "Yeah, come back next season." And then I basically have been there ever since. I've never really left the building. Obviously, full time now compared to back then in college, but
Yeah,
dude, I just remember them winning the cup and like going downstairs to go like clock out or whatever, and seeing everybody just on the ice and drinking their champagne and with their family, and just like it was just surreal to be there and be a part of it. Actually, like them winning it all because like I said, I worked at Angels a couple months prior, so I hadn't worked any kind of playoff games or anything crazy yet. It was regular season, and then my first like real event is Game 5 of the Stanley Cup when the Ducks win it, and I mean, I was already a fan technically before that. So then to be an employee and be there and now be there and see them play, I mean, it sucks we've been sucking right now, but I'm a diehard man. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, I dig it, man. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm not as diehard on you on that one. The only thing I'm diehard for is definitely anti LA King, but I just enjoy watching some hockey. I do watch it. I like watching it live better.
Oh,
But even on
that's why
TV, it's fun,
I
man.
always try to tell people if you haven't seen a game live of hockey, like please go watch it and try to sit like in the 200-300 so you can
Two,
see into the actual rink a little bit. It is the best sport live. I don't understand how those guys do that thing. It's crazy.
but once you've seen it from a nice perspective, it's fun to be right there on the
Oh yeah, you
glass,
want to be on
pounding
the
the glass
boards a
too. So
couple of times for sure. That'd be
yeah.
awesome. But your first game, you should want to be up a little bit and be able to see like the whole thing and how it develops and just what those guys are able to do on skates. It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, well, that kind of covers our four major sports categories, at least here in the U.S. What are some other things? One of the things that I love about sports, and maybe a lot of people don't like it, especially I would say I would call them little haters because they just can't seem to kind of break the chain. Is I love dynasties, even if it's not my own team. I don't know what it is about just excellence, but it's fun to just watch it kind of play out, I guess. So being able to see, like for examples, like the Golden State dynasty that was, or that might still be, but I think ended on this last
Yeah, I think it's
title.
over.
Alabama football, maybe still, but really back in the day when it was, the top two teams that just had instead of having the college football, basically before the college football playoff, when they were just kind of won all the time,
Yeah,
not
for real.
necessarily WON, but at least always won. So when USC football was good with like Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, when the Patriots, the UConn women's basketball, the Lakers, the Romans. Okay, well maybe not the Romans. But you get what I'm saying. Like I just
Yeah.
really love like when just teams just continuously win, even if it's not my favorite team.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. I'm all about the historic stuff. Like I for a long time when the Patriots are always winning, I hated them because in the AFC and as a Titans fan, it was like so annoying to never be able to get over
I
them.
loved it. Tom.
So to see them dominate the way they did, and as long as especially Tom did, it's crazy. But the ones that I like appreciate but also hate them is like the Yankees three-peat when they won 3 in a row. Ultimately, did not win 4 because Diamondbacks, which we
Diamondbacks,
talked
baby.
about 2001.
Yep.
And then like to be on the winning side of it makes it that much funner. Like the Lakers three-peat, what they did that way is way better. It's way more enjoyable to just like, yeah, this is my team dominating. It's not just another team that you're like seeing the domination. Like that's cool, but it's like to be a fan of it makes it that much more fun. So always love the dynasties if you can see it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so moving on then from dynasty teams, let's move on to like individual players then. Who would you say is your favorite player all time of
So
any
if
kind
I'm
of
just
sport?
yeah, I was gonna say the first thing that came to my mind, and this might be just more like a recency bias, but because he's been in the Hall of Fame stuff all came up in baseball, but Randy Johnson, like in his prime, dude, man, those 6 years he was with the Diamondbacks, I think he had like 3 seasons of 19, 21, and 24 wins, like just domination. And obviously, he unfortunately killed a bird on accident. We know, but
Yeah,
that's it's like a one in a bajillion chance that could have happened. There's no way.
it was an accident. He didn't do it on purpose. Okay, he's
No, there's
sorry.
no way. It's crazy the
He's
fact that
sorry,
it always
Pete.
comes up when spring training comes up on the anniversary. But during that time, he was the most dominant pitcher. And as a left-hander, a big guy like that, like what 6'9", 6'10", just that's got to be just like the most intimidating face coming at you throwing a pitch.
Agreed. I saw a stat. It's funny that you say that because I literally saw a stat. I sent it to you today. Randy Johnson had 5 consecutive 300 plus strikeout seasons from 1998 to 2002. There have been 5 total 300 plus strikeout seasons since 2002. So in 21 years, only 5 total amongst all pitchers has that happened, and he did it for 5 straight years.
Dude,
So
that's what I'm talking
to
about,
your point
man.
of dominance,
Dominant.
man, he was insane. Yeah, he was insane. So
And of course, this
my
is
favorite.
one the one we took off the board because we both would have said it would have been Kobe. So this is our second answers technically that we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
true. That's what I was about to
when I say
clarify.
Randy Johnson, like don't think I didn't think about Kobe or anything like that. That's just second one that came to my mind because we both took Kobe off the board. Which I know you still stuck to basketball when it came to your favorite player.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, after we took Kobe off the board because we just kind of both didn't want to have the same answer. Mine is probably Steph Curry. And that's really hard to say because I feel like it's a 1A and a 1B to Tom Brady because I just love Tom Brady. But I followed Steph's like path more closely because I had liked basketball, I guess longer you can say, and I haven't been as detailed into football since as long. So I would say probably Steph Curry, man. He's super fun to watch, and but right there is Mr. Brady. So
I
I'm
could
sorry,
see.
Tom.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Brady and you picked Curry, to
Yeah,
be honest.
I just like Steph, bro.
All right, so then we talked about the major sports and like our favorite athlete. But if there's any, is there any other like random sports or non like major sports that everyone watches all the time that you watch or like pay attention to?
Well, this might draw some controversy out there, but I watch esports actually.
Wow, that's not where I
Uh,
thought you were going when you said controversy.
I like video games. That's what I do as like in my free time. And so because I do, I similar to sports. When people ask why I even watch other people play video games instead of watching or instead of playing the video game myself, I the best comparison is sport. I don't understand why a bunch of grown men pay a bunch of money to 100,000 people go jam into a stadium to watch people play football if they can just go play football themselves. Well, because you're watching the best of the best, right? And so the idea is that I'm watching the best of the best video game players. So it's kind of fun to watch different tournaments for different games that I play and stuff like that. So I'd say that's probably what I follow the closest outside of the regular sports would be esports. What would you say?
I definitely follow no esports. I can tell you that for sure. I don't even
Come
know
on.
where. The random one that I kind of follow is the NL, the National Lacrosse League. My buddy Tim and I are season ticket holders down in San Diego for the Seals the last couple years, and I don't know. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
watch lacrosse or play lacrosse growing up, but going to that game the first time just to check it out, we were just like, dude, this is so much fun. It's basically hockey, but they're just running around on AstroTurf inside the stadium. It's like they transition like hockey. They score way more though. I'd say like the average game is at least double digits, 10 to 11, 15 to 12 is sometimes the
Oh,
score.
that's
There are some lower ones
interesting.
here and there, but for the most part, and there's a shot clock for 30 seconds, so you got to keep moving. There's still power plays. They do fighting, so it's like
Oh,
a
there's fighting?
yeah, it's like I'm
Okay,
saying, it's
that I didn't
basically
know.
hockey, but they run around instead of on skates, and it's a blast. And the other thing is they keep the music playing the whole time the game is going on. So when you're watching, there's like 35, 40-second clips of music and then the song change. And it's all like up tempo club, like, just keeping the game moving, keeping the
Sounds
action
very
going. But
interesting.
it's a lot of fun, man. I think that we pay like $9 a ticket for each game for the whole season.
Dang.
So yeah,
Dang. Okay. Jeez.
super
Okay. Well,
cheap.
they will have to take me sometime, man. Jeez. If
Yeah,
Tim doesn't
dude.
go, hey, Tim, let me grab your ticket, man.
Yeah, no, for
I'll go
sure.
with
And
you.
then if we don't make it to a game because we're working a Ducks game instead, because Tim and I work together, then we just can get 4 tickets for the next game because they definitely
Okay.
don't sell out. So we can easily get some extra tickets.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've watched lacrosse on TV. I've never watched professional lacrosse. I don't know why I put it in quotes. I'm sorry, professional lacrosse players. Professional lacrosse.
So you've watched the
Uh,
college outdoor game.
I've watched college. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've never. Oh, so is professional only indoor?
Yeah, the NLL is box lacrosse is what they call it. So it's indoor like a hockey rink size. But there
Okay,
is
gotcha.
the PLL, which is the Premier Lacrosse League. A lot of guys play in that
Oh,
league also. They play outdoor like the college game that you watch on TV. That's more
okay.
of their
Yeah, that's
outdoor.
the one that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that I've seen the most, and that's really fun to watch. So I understand definitely why you watch it. I have never seen one in person though. I've only seen them on TV. So
Yeah,
definitely be interested
I haven't
to do
been
it more.
to a outdoor lacrosse game person. They did do the indoor lacrosse seals. They did do an outdoor game, but they played on their like rink essentially, is what you call it, and they played it at the outdoor stadium, Snapdragon, which is SDSU's new football stadium. They played it in one end zone from one side to the other instead of in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was dope. It was an awesome game.
Nice. All right, nice. Do you so you watch that? Do you play anything still?
No, bro, I don't play no more. I'm about to be 35, like you just turned, and I don't
Hmm.
want to be the guy who tears his ACL at the park trying to play pickup ball with some younger people. Like, I'm good. For my physical activity, I work and walk around all day. I carry boxes and climb up and down ladders and stuff, and selling merch. And I average like 10,000 steps a day on just like a normal day. When I worked NF last week, we talked about that crazy ass day.
29,000.
Yeah, almost 30,000. So it's I get my steps in. I get my physical activity in. I just don't do it playing sports anymore. That part of my life is unfortunately beyond me at this point.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I do have a sedentary job, however, so that is something that I do try to partake in, especially more recently. I'm trying to be a little bit healthier, so trying to get more physical. So I have been swimming lately. Used
Oh,
to
okay.
swim in high school, as you know. Played some polo and stuff, and it's a lot easier on the joints and all those
For sure.
muscles and stuff like that. So, to your point about being older, I'm older than you by like 2 whole months.
Yeah,
So,
I know, right?
so I definitely know that. So it's really helpful to do that. I even see, dude, I see people when I'm there. I don't mean it in a rude way, but way older than me, and they're still just jamming out, man. And they do it for that same exact reason, obviously, low impact. So
Yep.
it's just something fun. I'm not really into let's drag my ass to the gym and like lift this bar up and then put it back down and then lift it back up. And then, I'm not saying it's not good, and I want to. I already incorporate some. Wait, you can kind of see one in the back a little bit, maybe. I already incorporate some weight training into what I'm doing, but I can't like only do that. I need to do something. So that's what I'm trying to start picking up is swimming.
Hey, well, you used to do it, so it's not that hard to pick up. I'm sure it's like riding a bike. The first couple times probably sucked, but now you kind of got at least a groove going.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, it took me a minute to get back to acclimation of getting that like endurance down and not having my muscles not be able to move. Like I just killed it today. I was working quick. I don't feel any pain, but I had been doing it now for I wouldn't say 2 full months because it's not on the weekends and I don't go every day, but 2 months off and on, a couple times a week. So I feel better now. That's for dang sure.
That's
So
good.
try to keep it up.
That's the main thing. Yeah. So, okay. Well, now that we've gone over all our favorite teams and everything, what is your favorite sport? Like, what's the ultimate? Like, if I'm sitting at home and I want to turn a game on, what game or what sport are you looking for?
So you snuck this question in at the last minute.
Yeah.
This is one I did not review. So I'm gonna have a crazy answer for you. I'm gonna say it depends. The first thing is if it's summertime. Okay, obviously there's only one on that's summertime, but picture like the type of day, right? It's the summertime, late afternoon. You were busy all day, maybe even out in the pool. You're inside in the air conditioning. You just want to relax and something that you don't necessarily have to pay attention to. You can maybe fall in and out of sleep or get up and get some to eat or drink. So the game of baseball is just very peaceful to me to watch, and I like to have it on in the background during. I know it's summertime; that's when it's played, so obviously that kind of is the one. But it's just like that's the game that I have that's like calming and just like relaxing. So that's what I like to watch when I'm just trying to chill. But my favorite sport to watch really is football for sure. Uh, I think the scarcity of the 16, 17, sorry,
Yeah,
17
about
games
to be
now.
18
Uh,
probably shortly in the next couple of years.
Geez, I hope not. Yeah. So I think the scarcity of that makes each week like really important, and it makes each week just so mean so much. So it's fun to bet fantasy and regular gambling on it, and just each game can mean something as opposed to drawing out like the long baseball or long basketball season. So long answer is baseball to relax, but favorite overall would be football. What's yours?
Well, if since you went like time of year answer, I'm gonna go the same thing and use the time of year. Like October baseball in the playoffs is the best thing to watch. Like that's my favorite. I could watch that anytime because every pitch is so important and every out is so important. But now with the pitching clock, I guess it'll make it feel a little different because usually it was so drawn out. Everything in between every pitch was, get the rosin bag and then go back on the mound and just stretched out because there was no clock. So it'll be maybe a little different this year, but October baseball has always been my favorite, like ultimate, like yeah, we're in the right time of year right now,
October in general is the best time of year. I
right?
mean, basketball's back, football's back, hockey's back, baseball's in playoffs, and
It's
yeah,
perfect.
and it's not 100 degrees anymore in Southern California.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Yeah, very true, very true, and it's your birthday.
Yeah, yeah. Just a day.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on from sports entirely, you kind of made a notion of it previously. Let's move on to something a little bit more entertaining that maybe everybody can relate to. We're going to still try to keep it sports related, but we're going to go with favorite sports movies. I know you being kind of having following that degree path in radio, television, and film, are a movie buff. So you might have some crazy answers, you might have some more normal answers, but what's yours?
So if I'm doing top five, a lot of it's gonna be a couple baseballs in here for sure. But rookie of the year, the one when the kid breaks his arm and then all of a sudden can throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball when it heals, and he's on the Cubs. That's like one of my favorite of all time. My sister and I can pretty much quote almost that entire movie together. Another one baseball related is Major League, the first one with Charlie Sheen. I love that movie, The Wild Thing, and Dorn and all that stuff. I just absolutely love that movie all around.
That's a
Football one
good one.
is Remember the Titans, like for sure. Ah, man,
Solid,
so good, right? Like just like
solid.
one of the best movies ever, if not just sports. And then this one's kind of not a normal sport I watch necessarily because I don't give a shit about cars, but Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby is the best. Will Ferrell and John C. Riley in that are the best. I absolutely die. It's one of those when you see it on TV on the guide, if you stop and put it
You
on,
just
I'm just
you
gonna
just
let
watch
it
it.
go. I don't have
Yeah.
until I have to leave or until it's over, whatever happens first. And then my last one, which is kind of random because I know I mentioned this the other day and you didn't know what I was talking about, is The Sixth Man. It's got Marlon Williams
Mm-hmm.
in it. His brother and him are, I think, like a year apart. I don't think they're twins, but they go to college together at University of Washington to play basketball. And the brother has a heart attack in the middle of the game, ends up passing away. But then Marlon's character can see his ghost, and his ghost helps him be like a better player and help the team win. And they ultimately go into like the March Madness tournament and get really far. I think they end up winning at the end, but it's just like a really, I Marlon Wayans is hilarious, so he's just
Dude, the
really
Wayans are
funny.
great.
Yeah, and like I said, him seeing ghosts and nobody else, and the way he has to react to it, and like act like he's not crazy in front of other people is really funny. So I've always enjoyed that one, but I feel like a lot of people know about that one. So
Yeah. That's true. I didn't know about it when you were telling me about it. When I googled it, I found it.
yeah,
I think I'm gonna rent it or buy. I don't know which option it was, but
yeah,
I think I'm gonna do it just so I can check it out, so I can kind of know what you're talking about. Maybe it's obvious if it's from top. If it made your top five, it must be worth watching.
it's pretty funny.
All right, all right. So I'm gonna try to go in probably like more like the order that I watched it. So kind of growing up, what my favorite ones are, and then thinking back now, what like just if I had to think of all of them,
All right.
the two movies that I watched growing up the most were Sandlot, which
Oh,
I
so
think
good.
everybody watched that.
Heck yeah,
One
same
of the greatest
here.
movies ever. So Sandlot, loved it, loved it. That got me into obviously playing baseball. That's the sport I played most. And then the second one, which is why I like this sport also the most, was Like Mike with Bow
Oh
Wow.
wow,
Dude, I probably watched that movie like I'm not even kidding. I if I had to guess, I'd probably say over 100 times.
dude! I think I've
I
seen it
owned it.
like 3 times ever in my life. I remember the movie and like he finds the shoes in the tree or whatever, but I've only seen it a handful of times. That's crazy. I would have never thought of that one.
Dude, loved that movie. I literally and how the sequels were, abysmal, but
Not
that's
very good.
okay. The first one was solid. So Bow Wow, shout out.
Oh
Love
my
that movie.
gosh, Lil Bow
Honestly,
Wow.
watched it. Oh yeah, true. That's true. Well, I'm trying to address him now.
Okay, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So, but yeah, definitely watched that movie way too much. After that, I saw probably White Men Can't Jump. That's
Oh,
probably one of my other favorite ones.
dang, that's
I
a
love
good
that
one.
movie. Actually, just to note, I like the old one. That's what I'm more referring to.
Yeah,
But I also have seen the new one with Jack Harlow, and I gotta say, man, I like it too. So yeah, I think it was
I'm,
pretty good.
I
So
think I'm gonna check that one out. I've always kind of thought about it since they released it, but it's one of those. It's on my list. I just haven't gotten to it.
yeah, it basically follows a very similar or the same path. You know what I mean? They switch it up obviously to kind of make it a different movie, but it's good. I liked it. I liked them both. So I would say, yeah, Sandlot like my White Men Can't Jump. Then I'm gonna switch it up kind of like you did, and maybe bring in a little bit of comedy. I've probably seen this movie probably 200-300 times. Can quote almost the entire thing. Dodgeball.
Oh, so good, dude. Jason Bateman just as the announcer guy, like F and A, Cotton, F and A.
Of course that's the part that you would pick out of the movie is the broadcasting part, but
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
the whole movie is great, man. So many great one-liners, so many things. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. All of these things. Dude, he kills it. He kills it. So both him and Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller and Vince
So
Vaughn,
good.
they really do that movie they do it well. So that's probably my comedy one.
I
And
think
then
there's
one that's
talk
just
of
been
rumor that they might do a second one of that.
really.
Yeah, like I think Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller both might have like signed up for it, but they obviously there's a writer strike right now, so we're not going to hear any updates. But I think there's a rumor they might make a second one.
There's an actor strike right now too, so even if they write it, ain't nobody gonna act in it. So, wow, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I hope they don't ruin it, right? Ruin
Yeah,
like
that's
the just like the I wouldn't say perfection. It's not a perfect movie, but you know
no,
what I mean.
but
Like a lot of people have think of it as very funny. So,
yeah,
kind of any sort of change from having that high of a standard would be subpar. So, I hope I hope if they do it as well as they can. So,
yeah,
my last one though, more recent, and it's just so fascinating to watch. And I think the actors kind of do a really good job in selling it as well as Moneyball.
really good one.
Yeah. So those are probably my favorite five movies. So we don't have any. I think we made sure to do that, but I don't even think we would have. I think the only one that when we were discussing that we were the same on was The Sandlot.
Yeah, that was the only one we both at first were just like Sandlot. And I was
Yeah.
like,
I mean, thank you
well,
for letting me have that, by the way.
yeah, no, well, my sister and I watched that VHS tape. I don't even know how much that thing.
Yeah. See,
We
maybe you
probably had to
should
get a
have had it
second
then.
version at some point. We watched it
You
so much.
probably did. Shout out to Bill.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out, man.
All right. Okay. Well, keeping it in sports, obviously, as we're trying to do here, but let's take it away from film. Let's move into we've done favorites of a lot of stuff, including sports and all these things, movies. Let's talk about teams or maybe individual players, if you can think of any, that
I
you
can think of a couple.
don't like or despise.
Okay, first one comes to mind: the Celtics and Celtic green. Just blah, can't wear green. Don't want to wear green. Don't want nothing to do with that stuff as a Laker fan. Obviously, as a Diamondback fan, I just always root against the Dodgers. So anybody who's playing them, unless the Dodgers winning a game helps the Diamondbacks in the standings in some way or some fashion, then I'll
Right.
root for them. But that very rarely happens.
True.
And then as far as like individuals, the only one I can think of, and it's the worst one, is Peyton Manning because he's so funny off the field, but on the field as a Colt for his whole career as a Titan fan, it's like 12 years of just like ass whooping, man. It just sucks. And in every division, then they go win a Super Bowl, and we still haven't won one. So I just hated Peyton Manning. But like I said, now that he's not playing more and he's just doing TV, he's hilarious. I love the guy. But on the field, I really, really hate that guy. And then just as last
Hmm.
second one I think of is, and I guess it's more so just the last decade because they've been better than we have. Is the Kings? They won 2 cups and they're annoying because they like to rub it in all the time. So I don't really hate them. They just kind of like one of those like go away.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on my list for the same exact reason. So one of the teams that's on mine, we obviously share in the Celtics. I plenty of people at my work know. Shout out to Lauren who helps me say it. The bad team in green or the green team or the dumb team on the East Coast. We don't really talk about them. So I try not to talk about it. I don't mention them. I literally don't say their name as often as possible, but I'm saying it for this purpose because it's a list of bads. So Kings are a little bit lower on the list, but it's more for the same reason. Just because the fans are like, "Yeah, we get it. All right, you won." Well, we won first, and they don't care anymore because they have two. If they only had one, then we could still, at least be even, and we won first. But
Yeah,
since they won two, they kind of
we
have
lose
more
that
now.
battle.
So yeah, yeah, exactly. I also am. Well, I used to be a fan of the Pac-12. The previous Pac-12 before they basically all left, but of the Pac-12, I was always a fight on SC fan. So a little anti UCLA. But honestly, as long as UCLA was playing somebody outside of the Pac-12, I was kind of rooting for them because again, I was just more of a Pac-12 fan.
Yeah.
And then the Yankees. Can't stand the
Ooh.
Yankees, bro. They just have this big payroll, and they've always had it. And they count all 27 championships, and most of them were in like the 20s when there was like four teams, and you know what I mean. And there was racial barriers. It's like I don't know, dude. They won so many so long ago. That's kind of like the Celtics too. We were counting; they've only won four since we've been alive. So
Well, let's even look at the Yankees since what 2000. They won in 2000. They won in 2009.
and that's it.
That's it. So it's the more
That's good.
modern. Just because you were good back in the day, like at least the Lakers dominance has been in the last 20, 30 years or 40 years, I guess. Really, the 80s, 90s, and beyond. Like they've won a lot more of their
Yeah,
titles in that time period when the game has
yeah.
been
We
much
lost them
harder.
all to the Celtics.
Yeah, I know.
Back in the
Unfortunately, yes.
60s, 70s. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, those probably be what I would pick. I'm not even really a Dodger hater to be honest with you. I only don't like them because they're in the same division as the Diamondbacks, so they're always doing way better.
Yeah.
Props to them. So, but I don't necessarily like hate them. Like if it ever came down to it, this would be probably one of my least exciting World Series ever. But if it ever came down to
Oh, don't
Dodgers
say it.
Yankees, I want the Dodgers to win.
No, don't. No, I'm
I
gonna
know.
be.
I know you don't.
No.
I know you don't. But I just can't stand the Yankees. I know you don't because then you're going to hear it from Dodger fans
Yeah,
because
we
that's where
live
we
here,
live.
man. We're gonna have to deal with those. At least with the
I
Yankees, when
know.
most of them don't live in California, or at least in SoCal. The
Yeah.
Dodger fans
Yeah.
are
Except for
everywhere here.
Yeah, except the only I don't know any Dodger fans that I associate with except at work, but I know one Yankee fan and he lives across the freaking street and I see him all the time. And I just don't want him to have any sort of happiness with the Yankees. But he's a huge Laker fan because he's a front runner. So that's where we get along. Um, but yeah, so that's probably it. I actually don't really have a player that I don't like. The only player that I could think of, and maybe it would be branched to players, but it's really just teams that stop Tom Brady from going 10 for 10. And that would be Eli Manning slash the Giants, and then Nick Foles slash the Eagles. That's pretty much like, I don't actually dislike them. Like this, I have zero against Eli. I have nothing against Peyton. That's for dang sure. I love that guy.
Ugh.
I know we just talked about how you felt, so I'm sorry to bring it up, but nothing against Eli, and nothing really against Nick Foles. Obviously, after that, there was absolutely nothing to his career. So, don't mean any ill will, but those are probably the only ones, the individuals or teams that I would add to the list, just because they stopped Tom from going 10 for 10. So,
Yeah, makes sense.
not of that.
Okay, so then if these are the teams or players we hate, if we were an athlete and had to be on one of the teams that we despise or hate, which team would you unfortunately pick that you would have to do it on?
Okay, so let me refer to my previous list: Celtics, Yankees, Kings, and UCLA. So I'm gonna skip the college one, so that one can't because I mean, I guess I could be cool to go back to UCLA. Go to UCLA. I wouldn't have got into a school like that, so that'd be great. But I'm gonna exclude that one. So let's just go Celtics, Yankees, and Kings. I don't really care about hockey too much, so I would exclude them, and that brings it basically down to a team where I don't even like saying their name, and the Yankees. So I'm going to go with the Yankees. The pinstripes are basically iconic. You can't. It's one of the best. Honestly, it's still one of the best looking uniforms. As much as I know what team is behind. It's still one of the best looking uniforms in the majors. And just you can actually just make a living just being associated with the Yankees. Even if you're just an average player, you just kind of have an average career there. Just being a previous Yankee. I mean, look what Derek Jeter's buying a team if he's playing for the Diamondbacks
Yeah,
as a
no
shortstop
way.
for his whole
No way.
career? No. You know where he's doing it? He's playing for the Yankees. So, yeah, there's a lot that can be had of that. And they have 27 rings. It's kind of hard to top that, even though they're
Yeah,
all a long time ago, and I
definitely
complain
is
about
hard
it. So.
to top those 27.
Okay, so yeah, so I would don the pinstripes.
All right,
What are you suiting up with?
I'm only going to do this because I feel like they're not going to be good for a long time. So if it was now, I would feel better about my chances of affecting them of not winning. And I'd be a Colt. I'd be a Colt. I'd be the kicker because I'm not very big, obviously. And then if I have to be the kicker and start, like I ain't going to make anything. So they're definitely going to not want to.
Well, don't you think you're just gonna get fired?
No, because if the premise is I have to play on the team, then that's
Oh,
the
okay,
thing. So
gotcha.
I'm just
Okay,
signing my contract and I'm playing my year out.
you should
And
play
if we're not
quarterback
good
then,
right
and just
now,
then they're really bad.
right, they got no running back who wants to be there, and then they got a rookie quarterback, and they got me as their kicker. It's gonna be a rough season, but as a Titans fan, I'm not mad. So I kind of win both
Ah.
ways in that sense.
Okay, well, I guess hey, it's a weird way to look at it, but it's funny that you dislike Peyton Manning. That's the one
I
place
know I
that you,
thought about that when I was like, this is gonna be a
that
weird
you would
answer, but
join. But yeah. So okay, all right. Well, hey, I like that. So well, speaking of Peyton Manning and individuals that are extremely entertaining, I love that dude on Monday night. That football broadcast, the Manning
Manning cast.
cast that they had, dude. I think he's so good. I think he's so good.
Well, not only
I
that,
know you don't like.
he's funny too because like when he was on
Yeah,
SNL those few times, all the skits he was in, he was hilarious.
him and his brother. I mean, his brother's like weird funny, but
Yeah.
Eli's funny too. So okay, so if you had to pick, let's do this. You're going out to dinner, and you get 5 people to join you, past or present, dead or alive, obviously. Uh, Coach or athlete. Let's obviously try to keep it sports related. Who is at the table? Who you breaking bread with?
All right, so the first one that comes to mind is Jerry Buss. I would love just because how he lived
Ah, yeah.
with all the Showtime stuff and how they just won everything, and he always seems to hire the right people and put them in positions to succeed, and then get out of the way, which for a lot of sports teams is not the case, which is why they tend to not be good.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, right. Another one would be Tony Gwynn, one of the best, if not the best, batters of all time, and essentially, from what I have read, he created or started. watching film of your at bats and critiquing and like learning from it. When he was a player, he would take a VHS player with him on the road and have the uh, staff on the team record his at bats on VHS tape and then give them to him so he could watch them in his room later and get better from them. Revolutionized the way the game was probably played way before anybody was even thinking about doing that. Which
No wonder he
obviously is
freaking barely missed, dude.
exactly, he's always watching film and learning way before anybody else was. So
That makes sense.
I'd just be interested to like hear his way of thinking and why he got to that at that time before anybody else
Okay,
was doing it.
I like that.
Another one would be Jerry West because I feel like he's built so many winning teams and
I like that.
everywhere he goes is it just they do all the right stuff and tend to win. And I just would love to hear his thought process on how to build a team and what he's looking for and what constitutes in his mind a good basketball player because he discovered Kobe and brought him in, was able to sign Shaq and bring him in. He obviously did a lot, and he did
Help facilitate that trade for Powell.
Yep, I was going to say Powell and Marc Gasol trade, which then Marc Gasol helped the Grizzlies. He went to Warriors and helped them.
That was probably that was a win-win for them.
Oh, dude, that's one of the few win-win trades you ever see. But it was for brothers. That's the
his brother. Yeah, well.
And then my last two are Bo Jackson. Man, he was just a baller. Played two sports. I've seen videos of him. He seems like just a really nice, solid dude. So I'd love to sit down and talk with him and just hear about like all the different things he did with football and baseball and how he kind of did them both at the same time. And then my last one is actually a coach, and I'm going to go out of not left field, but it's probably more random than most people would think, is Pat Summitt. We've talked about I'm a huge basketball fan in general. Like I used to go to the Big West tournament at Honda Center and watch 4 basketball games in one day and be one of like maybe 100 people in the crowd. Like I just love basketball, and Pat and the dominance she had with the Tennessee Volunteers. I would just, and all the girl, I mean, Candace Parker played there and has done nothing but talk about Pat her whole career and how much she made a difference in her basketball
legend,
career.
Dude.
Yeah, and watching that 30 for 30 doc about Pat and learning all her history, she seems like just a badass, and I would love to just like talk to her and get her perspective on the game of basketball.
Do you think that that LSU coach, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, is kind of like following her steps? Is that kind of like hard nosed, like we're gonna go?
She's kind of
I'm not saying
like
she's.
fiery,
I'm not trying to. Right.
No, not at all. She's got a fiery personality. She talks. She's loud. They just won the national title, so she obviously knows what she's doing and gets the best out of her players. Kim Malarkey, for some reason, I wanted.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, same kind of vibe. But Pat, I think Pat was just so stoic and just like, she just looked badass on the sidelines.
I can see that.
So all right. Quick dinner with, man. Who are you?
Quick stat though.
Okay, what you got
for Tony Gwynn?
Oh gosh.
Speaking of his greatness, I found this the other day. I sent it to you. Tony Gwynn has a career 45 4-hit games.
45 4-hit games. Oh my god.
So he's got 4 hits or more in 45 career games.
Wow.
He has 34, 11 less, 2 strikeout games in his career. So it's more likely for Tony Gwynn to get 4 hits in a game than it is for him to strike out twice in the same game.
Oh, man.
There's that film watch for you, man.
Yeah, see, I mean, I really wish that strike season wouldn't have happened. He probably would have bat 400. That would have been it. That would have been the last time it happened, too. Damn.
Right? Yeah. Well, okay. That's all right. Okay, so you asked me. I apologize for interrupting.
It's all good. No, it's all good, man. Now we're back at the dinner table. Who's your 5?
So I immediately am changing one of these from my thing, and I'm going to take this person out for drinks at the end, and we'll go together, and you'll see why in a second.
Okay. All right.
So the first person that I would have at my table is Kobe Bean Bryant. Rest in peace. The Mamba. His mentality is maybe a little bit overplayed in the media, in my opinion, because he's passed now. But it is real. It was what it was, and it is what it is. It carries on. So just making sure that you're grinding and trying to be the best that you can be every day. I just kind of love that. Now, someone else who follows those steps that would also be at the table is Tom Brady. That would be the next person that I have here. Another legend, obviously, on the field. But my third person is going to be a legend on and off the field. I'm going with the one and only, the great Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's a really good one.
He was so smart and so witty for his time, so well spoken. He was just so good, and obviously in the ring was just unstoppable. So great activist, just great leader. Would love to have him at the table. We actually made these lists separate, and it's funny that we both picked a two sport athlete, but we picked two different two sport athletes. I'm
That's
going with
true.
prime time, baby. I'm going with Deion Sanders. I want Deion at my table. I feel like he just has like a lot to say, and kind of like what you said, just perspective from both sports. Now he's into coaching. He's just like that flashy, cool player. He's probably lived the life that I'd love to hear stories from. So, but the one that I'm adding in place of who we're going out later at night with is I'm gonna bring a coach in because I really like that idea, and I'm gonna bring Phil Jackson. I
Oh,
feel like the Zen master would be amazing to kind of pick his brain and just kind of figure out all sorts of different things that he's got to say. I guess
dude,
specifically about basketball, but probably even about just life.
I was just gonna say he would be one of those people a conversation with could last for hours and go who knows what direction at any point in time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. But the person that was at my table that I decided might not be the best fit for dinner, but definitely is going to be at the club with us later is going to be Shaq Diesel.
Oh,
If I
nice.
could hang out with Shaq, but see, I would rather hang out with Shaq than just have
Yeah,
dinner with Shaq. So
I
that's kind of
totally
why I'm
get
just thinking about moving him later till we go to the after party with Shaq, and then we have Phil for dinner. So
nice. Okay, that's a good call. I
that's
like
what I'm
it.
gonna go with. Those are mine. I like both lists, man. I like them both. All of them contain both of them contain a bunch of legends. So.
Yeah, for sure. But Shaq for dinner or for the after party is definitely the best part.
DJ
Dude,
Diesel,
I'll say he
bro.
could DJ for us and everything. Yeah,
Exactly,
we'll get up on
exactly.
the stage with him. We'll be up there for point of view of the whole thing.
I'm down. If as long as he's down, I'm down.
I'm,
So,
at that point,
all right,
he's got to
so
do whatever we ask for.
all
We'll get to hang
right,
out with him.
yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to a different section here. We're gonna go to a would you rather. We got two more things left. We're gonna go to a would you rather. Okay, these will be a little bit quick, not too quick, but we don't have to obviously go into too much of an explanation on these. Just kind of a what would you rather do. Let's maybe alternate them. So I'll start. Would you rather, Corey, lose at the buzzer, whether that be a Hail Mary touchdown or a 3-pointer or whatever that may be, walk off, or lose by 30 plus? Okay, take baseball out. Sorry, I didn't read the rest of the question. Or lose by 30 plus.
Oof, man. Feel like I'd rather lose by 30 plus because then at least I don't have to feel bad and be like, oh, we were so close in the whole off season. If this is like a championship game, especially, like I
Mm,
don't want to have to think all summer about, oh, if that one play would have gone this way, we could have, won by a point instead of losing by a point. So to lose by 30, just be like, you know what? We made it really far, but that team was way better and we sucked and they beat us. So that's it. Like at least we can mentally move on, I think, a little quicker that way.
okay, okay, I can see that. I could. So the best comparison that I could think of initially is I'm pretty sure this is correct. There's angles of the Bengals Rams Super Bowl where as Joe Burrow is getting sacked by Aaron Donald,
Oh,
uh, Jamar Chase has Jalen Ramsey beat for a touchdown. He was by himself completely. If Joe Burrow had one more second, maybe two at the most, right? If he had another block, the Bengals win that Super Bowl, dude.
yep.
Like, so you're saying you don't want to be Joe Burrow in that case, seeing that film. You'd rather be somebody who just gets net.
The
Okay, I'm
Bengals
gonna
the
take the
first time they were in the Super Bowl against the Niners when they got their ass whooped. I'd much rather be like, you know what? It just wasn't our day. They were much better than have to have a whole offseason of like,
what
look what I
if.
had, an opportunity. It's so close. Like just the
Yeah.
stress of like having to live through that. No fun.
Gotcha. Nah, I'm taking the opposite. I'm going. I want and I'm going to use that. And I feel like maybe the Bengals kind of have. They haven't got back to the Super Bowl, and there's this weird stat going around that talks about players who their first time going to the Super Bowl, they lose it, they don't go back. I think there's like 15 to 20 of the most recent
Oh,
players who their first time is going and they lose, they don't go back. I know Jared Goff's on the list. I know Jalen Hurts obviously is on the list, but that just happened, so we haven't even given him the chance. And Joe Burrow is obviously on the list as well. So.
wow.
But I would be the other one. I would be the other one.
Oh man, it's so heartbreaking to have to deal with
Nah, I want the fire for next season.
that. Okay, so then let's go back instead of a buzzer loss or not, an individual more so at this point. Would you rather have like your peak in college, like your peak high, you're in college, like say you're in football, you win the Heisman, like you're at least a candidate, or would you have rather have an average career in that same sport? So like you go to the NFL, the average career is 3.3 years. Would you rather go to the NFL and play 3.5 years, maybe if you're lucky, basically, or would you rather have like you're super high in college and you're like in a candidacy to win a Heisman and then that's it? You don't make it to the NFL.
Dang. So do I want to be Manti Te'o, um,
Johnny Manziel, one of
Johnny
those
Manziel,
guys.
Baker Mayfield, Marcus Mariota,
Yeah,
or do I want to be somebody who I can't even name who only has a 3-year career because most of the time they aren't there for very long. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna go with the peak, man. I just want, hey, at least somebody might remember me, and hopefully it's for something good.
Yeah, even if you're remembered for bad things like Johnny at some point, at least you're remembered, I
Yeah,
guess.
at some point,
Like
right? But he
bad
had
press
that
is good
peak,
press.
right? That's what I'm gonna take. That's what I'm gonna take. At least somebody will know who I am. What you going with?
I think I'm gonna take the average career in the NBA because it's 4.5 years, one, and two, at least I gotta make money and get paid to be in the NBA compared to college. Like now, there's NIL money, but
Yeah,
if
I'm
I'm not,
NIL, bro. I'm
but if
NIL,
but
dog.
if I'm not that good of a player, then I'm not getting very much NIL. So that's why I need the NBA 4.5 year career to make some money.
Yeah, but the question is, if you're peaking there, then you are that good of a player.
Ugh, I just don't like the NCAA. I don't want to have to deal with them at
That's
all. They're
okay.
like
I'll give you
probably
that.
part of
That's
my
that's
answer. To
fair.
be honest, I don't want anything to do with those people.
Listen to our last episode. There's a nice small section of my opinion on the NCAA. So it's in the last episode. Go check it out.
We're both Mets.
Okay. All right. So okay, let's continue then. Are you want to be the star of a bad team or an average player on an elite team?
Oh, I'd much rather be average player on an elite team. Because at least if I'm on an elite team and I'm average, I'm probably contributing in a smaller role. But that means we're winning and everyone's in a good mood and we're having fun. Like I feel like every winning cures all. Like at that point, if you're winning continuously, everything is good. You don't have to worry. Nobody's mad. There's no bickering in the locker room. Like we're just doing our thing and playing our game.
So you want to be Alex Caruso on our championship team. You don't want to be Damian Lillard right now.
Absolutely. I would, dude.
Okay.
Remember when we played basketball out the park all the time? Who was the one basically playing point guard and actually passing the ball? I never wanted to
You.
score. I just wanted to score as a team and win the game. So I'm all about
Yes.
just like getting the score and whatever I can do to help.
I would pick that too, just because I'm down to win, bro. I just want to win.
Right?
So
That's
yeah,
what it's all
I'm
about. That's how
picking.
you
I'm
play.
picking. I'm picking average player on elite team. I'd rather be. Oh yeah, that guy. That guy won. Yeah, he was on that team. I remember. Yeah, I
It
think he
comes
was
down
pretty good.
to
He helped a little bit. Yeah, something like
it
that.
comes
Yeah.
down to would you rather be Robert Ory or Charles Barkley kind of thing? Like which career would you rather have?
Oh, that's the best way to put it. I'm gonna go with. Damn, Charles Barkley had a pretty good career though,
But
man.
Robert Ory has 7 rings.
Yeah, but
A
nobody ever talks
lot.
about
And
Robert
not only
Ory.
does he have 7, he was part of a back-to-back in Houston, a three-peat with the Lakers, and 2 in 3 years, I believe, with San Antonio.
All right. Okay.
Like it's pretty good
Okay.
run.
So let's keep it then with being a star. Then, so if you're the star, would you rather have that MVP or are you winning the championship that year?
Oh, the chip, yeah. Because one, the chip as a team, everyone's happy and having a good time. If I win MVP and then we don't win the playoffs, everyone goes home mad and pissed. My MVP season doesn't mean nothing. I'd rather win the chip and get the MVP of that final or Super Bowl instead of having to get for the regular season and not get the ring at the end.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Like the ring is
Okay.
what you play
Same.
for.
Yeah. No, I'm doing ring too. Okay. Let's just stay. So imagine you just won that ring. Would you rather have won that ring in some sweet looking digs, but playing in a junior college style stadium that needs some upgrades, or you playing in rags at Cowboy Stadium, that state of the art stadium? Where you want to win that chip?
So essentially, you're asking me, if the Raiders were still in Oakland, do I want to play at the Oakland Coliseum and have the cleanest, nicest uniforms, but be in the
Yeah, you
shittiest
got like Nike
building?
Ducks uniforms, bro. Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm playing in the Oakland
in the
Coliseum
Coliseum. Mm-hmm.
where they have to tarp off sections to make it look like it's less empty than it is. Or do I wear basically the shittiest clothes I have or
Mm-hmm.
jerseys they have, and I play at SoFi or Cowboys?
SoFi, yeah.
So I'm thinking I probably want to be at the nicer stadium because not
Yeah,
only
I'm all
does it
about
affect the
surroundings.
game, but it affects the training and the pregame routine. Because if I'm at a crappy stadium, they don't have any state of the art training facilities in the building. So then the game itself is not going to be fun. So I'd much
Okay.
rather have the crappy jerseys because that doesn't mean I have crappy equipment. I just have ugly, crappy jerseys.
Ah, look at you splitting hairs. All right, fine, fine. Are you a lawyer?
Hey, I'm just
Jeez.
saying, you didn't say it. You
Okay.
said jerseys, not pads and
Okay.
equipment.
Okay. So then let's just imagine you're at SoFi then. I'm with you though. I would be the nicer stadium.
Right,
Who
because
cares
then you
what the
have
heck I'm
fans that
wearing?
want to come watch you too. If you're in a
Yeah.
crappy stadium, nobody wants to watch a clean looking uniform in a crappy stadium.
No, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. Okay, so let's say you're at SoFi, but no longer you're not playing no more. You're just the fan. Okay, you want to watch. Let's pretend you're a Rams fan. You want to watch a Rams game, 50-yard line, week 7 against the Cardinals, or you want to watch the NFC Championship game, but with your binoculars.
Oh, that makes it hard. Okay, this question is
Okay,
hard
they
for
have a
me.
nice they have a nice board,
Yeah, yeah, but I was gonna say
but kind of take that out.
this is also a hard question for me because I actually went to an NFC title game in Santa Clara where the
Oh
Frisco
yeah,
Niners
I
played
remember you. Yeah, I remember you went there.
against Green Bay when the Niners went to the Super Bowl and lost
Hey,
to the
we had
Chiefs.
good seats.
We did have good seats. We were in the 100 section, kind of corner end zone, probably 15, 18 rows up. Like they were good seats. And I
Nice.
wasn't even a Niner fan. I was just there with my friend who had like Tim had Niner tickets and he's a Niner fan.
Yeah.
So I just happened to be there with him. But actually having been that close for an NFC title game, I still would much rather be at the NFC title game and be in the bleachers. Because at least if the team I'm there seeing, rooting for wins
Mhm.
and they go to the Super Bowl, like we're gonna be having a party at that point. So of
Yeah.
course I want to be there. I don't want to be sitting close for the Clippers versus the Magic in October. Like, what do I want to
Why
sit
would you
there for
even
that
be
for?
at the game, let alone up
Well, if they were
front? Why
free
would you
tickets,
even
I'd
be
probably
at the
take
game?
them.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
like,
Yeah, true. Hopefully it's in Orlando or at the new stadium. Because Staples is Lakerville. I don't care what they do. Like,
yeah,
wait till you get your new spot.
yeah. Then I'll come check out a game.
Don't cover up our banners. It's your selfies. I'm definitely taking playoffs, man. I want the important game. I don't really care
Right?
how close I am, to be honest with you. Uh, I'll bring binoculars. I'll watch with from afar or whatever. But really, depending on what the stadium I'm going to, dude, the stadium has a nice little screen I can watch. So
Yeah,
I'm definitely going
absolutely.
close. I'm definitely going close. Okay, a couple more.
Trying to tackle Marshawn Lynch. And like we're talking Marshawn Lynch in his prime, not like right now when he's retired. Not that it would still make it
I
easy.
was gonna say, I mean, I want to do it right now, dude.
Or would you rather try to hit a curveball off of Clayton Kershaw?
Well, if there's something on the line,
Okay.
because if there's nothing on the line, I'm not taking punishment. There's no
That's a
way
good
I'm trying to tackle Marshawn Lynch. Like if there's nothing on the line, then I'm just gonna try to stand up there against Clayton Kershaw and whiff, whiff, whiff. Okay, cool. I'm out. Bye. If there's something on the line, unfortunately, I don't think I'm hitting the ball. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm hitting. I don't think I'm stopping Marshawn Lynch either. Today, yesterday, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't think I'm stopping him either. But maybe I could trip him. Not on like maybe I could try to like just try to hold his ankle, and that's you know what I mean. Like I feel like there's no freaking way I'm hitting Clayton Kershaw. Like that's just so hard to do. So
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna just eat crap and just try to tackle Marshawn.
So I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm actually gonna try to hit the curveball because, like you said, I don't want to have punishment. So and if it was worth money, even I think I would try to
No,
do
what
a
if it's worth like
curveball.
your dog's life, or you have to break
I'm
up with
still
your
trying to hit a
girlfriend or
curveball.
something?
Because if you think about Marshawn Lynch, like even if I grabbed his ankle or foot or knee and tried to pull him down, he is
He
so
did drag 9 Saints to the end zone.
okay.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
what am I gonna do to him at all? Even if we're not even in pads, just no. There's nothing gonna happen. I'm not gonna do
Okay, well,
anything.
with that, when you put
If
it
I
that
go
way, I just
stand up
really don't
against
think I'm
a
hitting Clayton
curveball,
Kershaw.
I don't think I can hit it, but I have a better chance because think about a curveball is the slowest pitch thrown normally. Besides,
Oh,
like
so he's only throwing curveballs.
that's all he's throwing you is it
Oh,
just
I
is a
didn't. I
curveball.
thought
I didn't
maybe
say how
he. I'm
many, or
just.
it just you're getting a curveball thrown to you. A curveball is much slower than a fastball. Obviously, it's going to be like in the 70s, maybe low
Oh
80s.
yeah. Well, okay. All right. Well, now I changed my mind.
And then
You convinced me.
and then it's an arc. So if you can kind of like, I mean, again, you don't have to hit a home run. You just got to hit the ball
Make
at all.
contact.
Just make
Make
contact.
make it in play.
I think I could possibly do that against him
Okay.
much more so.
All
And
right.
again, I
Yeah.
don't think I could do it, but there's a slight better possibility than tackling
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch
Instead of
for sure.
0.0001, it's 0.00002. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
small
Yeah.
difference.
I guess I'm with you, man. I don't want to get hurt. If I'm not gonna miss, if I'm gonna miss anyways, I might as well just try my best to just have my feelings hurt as opposed to every bone in my body hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now I feel you.
All right. So now these ones, the last couple of this, would you rather, not going to be necessarily sports related. They're kind of random, but I just decided to switch it up a little bit. So if you had the choice between unlimited food, and these are the two options, what would you have? Would you rather have unlimited pizza or unlimited tacos?
Okay. Well, I'm going to answer this as in if I can eat dairy,
Okay.
because the answer is extremely easy. If not, I know you just kind of forgot that. But let's just pretend it's got vegan cheese and I can eat pizza. I'm still picking tacos, and only because it's so versatile, dude. You can do anything with a freaking taco. So I'm picking tacos 10 times out of 10.
And I
What you
couldn't agree
picking?
more. And partially that's because you can eat much more of them. Like pizza with the dough and everything, that's gonna
Oh,
fill you up so
true.
fast after like 3 pieces. But tacos, if they're the little street ones you get from like a taco man,
Mm-hmm.
I could probably eat
Mm-hmm.
like 8 or 10 of those and have no issues, like compared to like 3 slices of pizza.
We've got some of the best street tacos here in LA,
Right?
man. So I know exactly the taco. Oh man, that sounds so good, bro. What are you doing? You're down to go get some tacos, man?
Dude, the biggest thing is anytime somebody has a party at their house, and like, oh, we're having a taco man, I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to this party and it's gonna be awesome because the
Oh,
food is gonna be
100%.
great and I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes, oh, we got deadly sandwiches and like some like, come on, man, get a taco man. It's SoCal. There's so many places you can get tacos from.
Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree. Tacos is king.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next one. Would you rather live on the beach, sorry, or in a cabin in the woods?
All right. So to clarify, am I living on the actual sand on the beach, or am I just living in a house that happens to be on the beach? Am I like homeless and living on the sand?
Yeah, you are not homeless.
Okay, all
No.
right. So I'm living on the beach at a house. Okay, so then I'm going beach
Yes.
because one, I already live in Huntington Beach, so I'm a mile from it, but I'm in an apartment. I'm not in like some fancy house on the beach. But if I could be, I'd much rather be there because then I can always go out and sit outside, have the ocean right there. If it's too sunny or hot outside, just stay indoors, but have a nice view. The cabin, I mean, like I'm not really much of an outdoorsy person like that, so I feel like I would just be much more of a chill vibe at the beach.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm taking this twofold again, but the only reason why is because there's one small caveat. I would 100% choose the beach, but I live in Southern California and I freaking hate people. And there's so
A
many
lot of them at
people
the
by the
beach.
beach. So, because of that, I would then choose the cabin in the woods because it's peaceful and there aren't people there. And I'm not necessarily some lumberjack, right? But I do enjoy the outdoors. My dad grew up taking me to all sorts of national parks and all that kind of stuff. So I've been hiking at a bunch of different places. So I do like it somewhat. I don't go, regularly, but I do like it somewhat. So I'm staying away from the people and staying in the woods.
That's not a bad way to look at that answer at all.
No.
All right, so the last one of would you rather, and again, this has nothing to do with sports, but if you had one day where you could have this capability, what would you rather have? Would you rather be able to fly for the day or be invisible for the day?
Damn. I feel like the only reason why I would be invisible is to do something mischievous. Like steal, or you know what I'm saying? Like, what would be the point of being invisible? I just don't want people to see me. Now, I guess I could go buy a house on the beach and then nobody would come up and talk to me because they couldn't see me.
There you go.
But I don't feel like that's a good use of it. So I feel like since the only thing I would do is something probably bad if I'm invisible, I would pick fly. I think it was freaking cool to fly, dude. I could go. How fast can I fly? Like a bird or like a plane or like Superman?
Let's go somewhere between a bird and a plane, but I don't know, like
Like a
40,
slow
50
plane.
miles an hour.
Okay, so I could do like down PCH fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll choose that. I'll choose that.
I
I'll choose
mean, no
fly.
traffic. You just fly above the traffic
Yeah,
everywhere
I'll just
you
be
go.
going, bro. Yeah. I'll choose that. I don't know where I'd go, but yeah, I'll choose that.
And again, it's only for a day. So, well, maybe I guess if
Yeah,
it's
that's
only
what I'm
for a day,
saying.
maybe it should be for like instant, like Superman to go somewhere, basically teleport.
Okay, well then shoot then. Yeah, heck yeah, I'm flying. So I can fly anywhere I want in the world then. Yeah, exactly. Okay. 100% flying. What are you picking?
I'm going invisible actually, because
Yeah, because you're a
like you said, it
thief.
would be
I'm just kidding.
mischievous. Yeah, no, I was gonna say it would be mischievous. I would try to be like a fly on the wall in like some kind of room that's a brokerage firm doing a big deal. It has to do with like stocks or something or
Okay, so you're
something
not
being created. I'm not
stealing
stealing, but I'm like
technically.
hearing and it's kind of like insider trading, but I'm not physically. Nobody knows I'm there, so they don't know
That's
it's
true.
happening. And
And
then
you're
I can
not
just buy
affiliated
that
in any
stock
way.
and then make a boatload of money and then not have to work anymore. Like not
Oh,
a
damn.
real job work. Like we could do this
Okay.
forever. See, that's not a bad one, right? That's pretty good.
That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Somewhat mischievous, but not as illegal
Yeah,
as
but not
just
physically
technically
going to a bank
stealing.
and like robbing it or
Right.
could have been
Okay. All
worse.
right. Okay, well, that was a good section of Would You Rathers. A little clean version, of course. A lot of other versions could be different.
Yeah.
Let's move on to just a quick, like, little rapid fire section. I'll start asking you these questions. We're just gonna go you, then me, instead of going one by one by one. I feel that'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, makes
So, just gonna ask you a question. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. Most likely not. I don't think we did. Yeah, one thing that's sports related at the end. Two, couple things that are sports related, but mostly not sports related. So, well, let's start with sports and then we kind of move in throughout it. Favorite sporting event?
Oh, the World Series for sure.
World Series.
Stressful as
Okay.
hell to watch.
Favorite color? Okay. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Okay, like that. Favorite number?
13.
My least favorite.
No,
Favorite
don't even get to
food?
that. Oh, Mexican. We just talked about tacos. I could eat a burrito anytime,
Oh,
whatever, enchiladas, whatever you got. Mexican of any plate. It's totally in.
okay. The favorite drink?
This is gonna be kind of weird, probably, but an ice cold Arnold Palmer, dude. Those are like they just
Oh,
hit
okay.
so well if they're
My
like
wife would
perfectly done.
100% agree. She loves Arnold Palmer. 100% agree. Okay, who's your favorite? Instead of just picking something vague like a genre, let's try to be more specific. Who's your favorite musician? Like older, if you want to pick like an older type, and then maybe like a more current one.
All right, older that this is like the one band that I love growing up that I haven't seen yet is Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love all their shit, but again, one of the few bands I haven't seen yet in my lifetime. So there's my older one. More recent would be, and I don't know if they've had a lot of albums lately, but the last 20 years or so is Paramore. Paramore is they just rock. I love Haley Williams, and when I saw them, I like fell in love with them even more so than just already liking their music. So that's my old and my new.
Okay, nice, nice. Favorite vacation spot.
Well, no, I don't have a spot. I just have a specific vacation that is my favorite. It's when me and two friends, Lauren and Stern, did a road trip to all the different national parks: Zion, Yellowstone,
Ooh, that is cool.
Mount Rushmore, Grand Canyon, Four Corners. We just did a bunch. We drove like over that 5,000 miles, all said and done.
Dang.
And I did it all the whole time of driving. So it's
Of
just like one of my
course.
favorite. Like, yeah, of course, I'm always behind the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, nice. Good one. Favorite stadium that you visited?
Ooh, okay. So two tie, PNC Park in Pittsburgh for baseball and Petco in San
I heard it
Diego.
looks so beautiful.
Those two are the
Oh,
best.
so
Petco
beautiful
has the
too.
best because it's on the beach, basically on the harbor and everything. The view of downtown. They have the old Western
So
Supply
nice,
building
dude.
they kept in there. And PNC is the second smallest stadium, only to Fenway, but that's because Fenway is like 100+ years old. And the view of the skyline with all the bridges in the city of Bridges in Pittsburgh, and it's just gorgeous.
Nice. You're supposed to be rapid fire. Uh, favorite hobby.
Oh, watching movies and TV.
Okay. Favorite smell. Like what? Like, oh man, I love that.
Oh, favorite smell. I guess like Thanksgiving dinner at home with like the fam, like all the plate
Ooh,
once you put everything together and sit down and everyone's there just ready to chow down.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Favorite superhero.
Oh, Batman. Pff, hands down.
Nice. He's a regular person, but okay. Uh, no, I'm just kidding.
Semantics.
Okay. Okay. Last one. Favorite Olympic sport. Basically, like a non-popular sport, but give me one for each the Winter and the Summer Olympics.
All right, winter curling for sure. Summer,
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say volleyball.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
That shit's intense. That
Okay.
indoor volleyball's intense.
Nice. I agree.
All right. So now, okay, I guess
Okay,
rapid
my
fire.
turn.
My bad. I ruined the rapid fire part by talking about more
No
stuff.
worries. No, it's okay. No, I mean it's all right to add a little bit.
All right. So here we go. Your turn going down the list now.
All right.
Favorite sporting event?
I'm gonna say the Super Bowl. It's just that one day, get it all done.
Live or die. All right.
That's right.
Favorite color?
Red. Noticed almost all besides the Lakers of my favorite teams are red.
That's a good point. That's true. I didn't notice. All right.
Ducks are orange. That's close.
Favorite number?
8. Was born in August of '88.
Makes sense. All right. Favorite food?
Kobe. Most currently is actually like Japanese food. Because they don't use a lot of dairy, and I have to avoid dairy. Pretty much anything I can eat that's Japanese, and I love sushi, so
Oh,
that's what I'm gonna go with. Japanese food.
not a sushi fan myself, but the rest of
Oh,
the other
missing
stuff,
out.
yeah. Okay. Favorite musician, old and new.
Let's go with my favorite old musician would probably be I'm gonna be kind of maybe boring. I'm gonna go with two then. I'm gonna go with like a band and a musician. I really like Elton John and Journey. I like
Nice,
Journey.
nice, nice.
But a new one is completely different than those. I would say Drake. I love Drake. But you missed one because my favorite drink
Oh,
is water. I'm boring. So the
wow.
only thing I
Yeah,
drink is water.
that is
So it's a
quite a
good thing I
boring
guess you
answer.
missed it. But I wanted to talk about it. Water's good for you. Everyone should drink water.
You know what? I think I knew that
Okay,
answer, so
nice.
I just skipped that question. I was just trying to avoid your boring answer of water. So the next one then, after your musicians, favorite vacation.
Vacation. My favorite vacation was definitely the most recent one I took with the wifey, although it was a couple years ago. Oh, actually, that's not the most recent one I took. The other one that we took in 2019, just before COVID, was to Kauai. It's just so beautiful there, so relaxing, just great place. Loved it, had a blast. Also, I'm part Hawaiian, hence the flag as well. So, praying for everybody out in Maui. Hope everybody is trying to stay safe, and
Yeah.
hopefully everybody can get rebuilt up soon. So,
Yeah, terrible with those fires there, man. So bad. All right.
yeah.
So then after the vacation spot, favorite stadium that you visited?
Mine's gonna be Fenway. That's
Ooh.
where the wife and I went. That was our first baseball trip together. You are attempting, and you're very, very, very close to completing all of the stadiums visited. I'm on a similar path, but extremely far behind. So,
What are
but
you
yeah,
at right
Fenway
now?
was the first one. I'm only at like 10, dude.
Oh,
Yeah. So yeah, so but Fenway was the first one that we went to. So it was one of our first trips together. So I loved Fenway. Fenway was awesome.
all right. That's a good choice. I remember that being there. It's a good stadium. Okay. Hobby.
Dab, and go back to video games. I know I talked about esports earlier, so I'm gonna go with video games. That's what I like to do in my time off.
All right. Favorite smell.
I would say something baking in the oven, cookies or brownies, or chocolate chip cookie, oatmeal raisin cookie, some of that cinnamony stuff. Oh, dude, I just love me some baked goods.
Some baked goods. Nice choice. All right. Superhero.
I'm gonna go with Iron Man.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
I like Tony Stark, especially the actual. I don't know, the character kind of adds to it. He's just so funny.
Yeah, no, for sure. Downey Jr. makes it for sure a lot of
Hmm.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last one, the Olympic sport, again, non popular for winter and summer.
Okay, so I'm gonna go like bobsled slash luge slash skeleton, like all of
Ooh,
like those for because the skeleton those fools are crazy.
yeah,
I
they're
just like
definitely.
the intricacies of those turns and stuff, and they're going so fast. It's just insane. But you actually stole my one, so I'm gonna switch it, and I'm just gonna say beach volleyball then.
Beach volleyball. Nice. That's a good
Yeah, because
choice.
volleyball was going to be mine. And the reason why is because my sister played volleyball forever. So I got really into the sport and kind of understanding it a lot.
Yeah,
But similar things obviously for beach. So yeah,
yeah. I
beach
remember
volleyball
going
would be
to
one.
some games with you for your sister.
Yeah, for sure. When she was in high school and then maybe
Yep.
even some of her club games.
Yeah, I
So,
think there was a place in Anaheim that we went to, like a
oh
big
yeah, the
sports
convention. Yeah,
complex.
well, near the convention center.
Yeah, down I actually it's
The
not
athletic
right near our
center.
warehouse, so I drive by it all the time.
Oh, do you really? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there. So, yeah, she had a bunch of tournaments and stuff there. So, yeah, so that's what I would say too. So,
nice.
all
All
right,
right.
cool,
Well, I'd
cool.
I'd say we did a good job of kind of giving ourselves a
Hopefully,
little bit.
describing ourselves a
Yeah,
little bit. Yeah.
everybody has like a face to the name now as well, and like has more of a background of who we are and why we like sports and how we've kind of gotten into it. So I feel like this was a good way to introduce ourselves to the world.
Real quick, I just thought of something that we should definitely add. We met in second grade. Like what we met, right? So we met in second grade. I don't really know if there was really any story to it. I don't know how, but we basically have just been friends and have kept in contact, obviously, since second grade. When were you in second grade? Eight?
Yeah,
7?
probably 7 or 8,
So what have we been friends for like 20, 20,
20.
30, 28 years?
Yeah.
Dang, long time. So yeah, it's a good guy right here. So just love what we're doing here, and hopefully you guys do too. So I thought we'd give you, we've been friends forever, met in second grade, so thought I'd give
Yeah.
you a little bit of background too. So, but
Yeah.
hopefully you learned a little bit more about us. You want to move into our one of our favorite segments?
Yep. Let's get ready for Monday's segment.
I cannot believe a fine woman like this produced a guy like Stifner.
Dude, I took some MILF.
The hell's that?
MILF.
Man, I love facts.
Yeah, you guys.
All right. Again, it's MILF Mondays.
MILF
It'll be our
Mondays.
thing we do every Monday. We'll give you a random stat or fact from sports. And this one actually, Brendan sent to me about, I think, a week ago, and it just seemed to make sense to have today after we talked about ourselves and different teams we like because it has to do with the Titans. So back in 1999, the Jacksonville Jaguars had probably their best season of all time. They went 14-2 in the regular season, and the two losses they had were to the Titans because they're in the same division, so you got to play each other twice. The Jaguars then were the top seed in the AFC, went to the playoffs, killed the Dolphins 62-7, which actually thinking back now, that was Dan Marino's last game. That's why he retired. He got his ass whooped.
Oh my, 62-7.
Seven,
Ouch,
yeah.
bro.
So then the Jaguars go to the AFC title game and they lose again for the third time that season to the Tennessee Titans, which the Titans, as we talked about, unfortunately lost the Super Bowl to the Rams. But the point is, if you take the Titans out or they don't exist in 1999, the Jaguars would have been 14-0 in the regular season, and they probably would have went on to the Super Bowl because they would have won the AFC title game, having not played the Titans. And maybe even they beat the Rams and the Rams don't get their first Super Bowl. Like, that's a really crazy thing to think about, that you go 15-3 overall, including the playoffs, and all three losses were to one team, the Tennessee Titans.
That is a rough stat, but a very deep one, man. I like that one.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of a rivalry between them, obviously, especially the last couple of years. The Titans have kind of beaten them up, and now Jacksonville won the division last year and is looking to come back for another one. So it should
Trevor
be fun.
Lawrence
But
looks
again,
good.
just a weird way to have a 1999 season if you're the Jags. It's your best of all time, and it's just one team that ruined it all for you.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, but it was your team, so I'm sure you were having a great time.
I was until they lost the Super Bowl. Then I didn't care anymore about the regular season at anything at that point.
Yeah, that's true. I was rooting for you though. I was with you. I was rooting for you. Go Titans, because I knew you were a Titans fan, so I know I was rooting with you. But yeah, there's
Didn't
just
work out for us.
a little short. It's okay. Kurt Warner, good guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so cool, man. Well, hey, I think that was a great first face-to-face show.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we went longer than we normally do, but again, we got to introduce everybody to us and who we are and why we like the teams we like, and hopefully, I'll give you more information as far as like what our opinions are and why our opinions are the way they are moving forward.
Yep. Yeah. Well, checking in from our view from the bench, I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.